Alrighty boys, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be doing a tier list. So I'm going to do a couple of these. I'm going to spread them out, but this is going to be the first one I'm going to do. It's kind of running it back. I made one 2 years ago for the pretty much the same concept of just skills. And I thought, why not run it back, because a lot of the skills have changed, a lot of the perks have changed, and let's see if my top picks will change as well. Now, before we start, because I already know there's going to be at least one or two people in my comments, they're going to be like, oh man, did you steal this from so-and-so? Oh man, repeated video idea. I made the first tier list video. Look it up on YouTube. I made the first tier list video for Bannerlord. I know, you hate to see it, but I was that guy. And by the way, I made this tier list as well. Like, I literally cropped out these photos. I used to go under this tag before the YouTube that I have now. You know, some quick facts for you if you didn't know. But regardless, let's get right to it. I'm pretty sure that person is still probably going to comment on there, but let's get right to it. So we're going to go one by one, and also I have the game pulled up in the background. Boom. So we're going to switch over to it, and I'm going to go over and we're going to see what each one does so we can kind of see how it goes, right? So we got OP, needed, good, okay, and bad. All right. So without further ado, let's get to it. So first wave is one-handed. So what is one-handed? So one-handed, it increases weapon speed and weapon damage. Now, how much do I like one-handed? I think as a beginner trait, it is amazing. I think for most beginners, fighting with a shield and a one-handed weapon is pretty much the go-to for a lot of players. But as I have played a lot more of the game, I have realized that two-handed and polearm is a lot more fun, and it's a lot more deadly if you get it right. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna say it's between needed and good. You still want to have some one-handed skill, but at the same time, if you're really good at combat, two-handed is kind of way stronger. You know, I feel like one-handed is more like for a beginner. But it does have some good perks as well. I'm going to put it on... I'm put it on good. It's not needed for the game. It's good, though. It's a good one to have. Second is two-handed. So two-handed does the same thing. Weapon speed and two-handed damage. But again, like I said before, two-handed, it does so much more damage. Yes, you are more kind of, you're going to get attacked by arrows a lot more. You're going to, you know, obviously, you're swinging one thing. You can't really protect yourself as much, but the damage output is insanity. So for that reason, but then again, it's not really needed, is it? But it's better than, one-handed, in my opinion. I'm gonna put it needed. I'm gonna put it needed. I think it's a generally good. I'm gonna put it at good. At good. Listen, it's not needed for you to be you know, good at this game, but it's good. Polearm. It's okay. Listen, polearm. It's really good if you're on horseback. If you're not on horseback, again, it's still weapon speed and weapon damage. They all follow the same, pretty much. You know. As you level up, that's what gets leveled up. Polearm, it's if you're on horseback, if you're not playing a character that's on horseback, well, and you still have a polearm, you're kind of a crazy person. I'll be honest with you. You're a little bit crazy. There's nothing wrong with that, but having a polearm without a horse is like just, I don't even know what I could compare it to. It's okay. It is okay. If there was like really good pole arms that you can have while you're not on horseback, which there are, but like, it's super effective if you have a horse. Next, bow. It's needed. It's needed. Okay. So bow skill, it increases your max usable bow difficulty. Obviously, higher tier bows require you to have a higher bow skill. Then the bow damage goes up and the bow accuracy goes up. Bows are just generally so good. Early on, late game, early on whenever you're just fighting looter groups, kind of just like moving you a little bit farther away, shooting them with a bow, you can take out huge looter groups, get a bunch of good fights under your belt, And then even later on, just being able, like, in hideout situations, you can take out, you could literally solo a lot of hideouts with like a very good bow if your aim is good enough. And then later on, if you're doing a siege, you take out the guys that are commanding like the ballistas, or you can take out what's it called, enemy archers. It's just so good. I think bow is so good. It's not OP, but it could be OP. It really could be OP. I'm gonna put it OP. I'm gonna put it OP. We'll see. This might change though. It might go back to needed. We'll see. Crossbow. It's. I know. People are gonna be like, oh, but there's a perk that lets you, you can reload your crossbow on horseback and blah blah blah. But you have to reach 175. It's just, crossbow is just. I get it. It does a lot of damage. I'll put it okay. I was gonna put it at bad. It does a lot of damage, but the long reload speed, honestly, is disgusting. So if you miss your shot, the reload speed, like, and if you're against like a horseman, he's gonna reach you before you reload that thing. So it's okay in my opinion. Next we have is throwing. It's also okay. I'll be honest with you. Throwing is just very lackluster. It improves your throwing weapon speed. Oh, by the way, crossbow reload speed and crossbow accuracy is still cheeks. Listen, 300 and you only get plus 21% reload speed. It's kind of booty. Throwing weapon speed, throwing weapon damage, and throwing weapon accuracy. I don't like how whenever I use throwing weapons, it just always feels like my character just has never thrown a ball before, or it hasn't thrown anything before. I get that the weapons are probably heavy and stuff like that, but like it always just feels like I undershoot it every single time. And it's just like, it's okay if you like get kind of later into the game. And also I don't like the fact that like there's not as much, you don't get as much throwables as like for, a bow quiver is going to have so much arrows. Throwing, it's like you could have a 3-stack and still only have like 12 throwing weapons. It's okay in my opinion. It's okay. Riding, it's OP. It's OP. So riding, if we go right over here, your max difficulty for your horses, it works the same as bows. Pretty much, higher level horses, to ride them you have to have a higher level riding skill. Your horse speed increases, horse maneuver, mounted weapon damage, which goes great with the bow, mounted weapon speed and reload speed, and dismount resistance. I don't know what this really is, to be honest with you. Okay, sensational. But yeah, listen, horses are just OP. It's just better to be on a horse in Bannerlord than it is to be on foot. That's just what it is. You're faster on the map. You're faster in battles. You can get away. You can kite. It's insanely OP throughout the game. And then like the perks are pretty good as well. If you focus on a mounted army and you max out your riding skill, you're pretty much a god out there. You know what I mean? That's why the Khazaits are still sensationally good. You know what I mean? It's just mounted units rule. Next, athletics. It's needed. I think it's definitely needed. Athletics. Let's go over here. Your running speed increases. Your weight penalty is reduced by 30%. Knockback resistance and knockdown resistance. There will be times in certain places where you're gonna need to be without your horse, and you're gonna need a character that's a little bit faster. He can carry heavier armor but still be kind of fast. That's what the weight penalty reduction is. You don't want to be too slow. If you're slower than everybody else, you're going to get caught out in a lot of places. For example, in sieges, you kind of want to have a little bit of speed to run away so you don't get caught out by like 4 or 5 enemies that are just going to pummel you to death. In battles, if you get knocked off your horse, prison breaks, tournaments, you want to have a good athletic skill, and the perks are actually pretty good. They're pretty good. They kind of go towards like the melee damage, And also, as you can see right over here, some movement speed as well. I think it's pretty good. And athletics also has a lot of HP perks to increase your HP. So overall, yeah, it's needed. You kind of need to level up your athletics a little bit. Now, smithing. I know everyone's gonna say it's OP, and people got on me for the last. I remember I'm having flashbacks from 2 years ago of people being like, "Man, smithing's OP because there's exploits, and I make so much of it." And that's kind of the reason why I put it. I'm pretty sure I put it in bad, if I'm not mistaken. Smithing now, I'm gonna put it in good. I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna be like, "Oh man, but I made like 100K and blah blah blah." I don't see an exploit as making a skill sensational. I like for skills to be balanced, so there isn't like game breaking bugs that are associated with it. But if you were to include the associated game breaking bugs, you can say it's OP. I'm gonna say it's good. You know what I mean? I know it's a brave take, but I don't think so. You know what I mean? It's okay if you want to go down that route. Is it needed? No, you don't really need to do it. But if you do it, you'll make some good money off of it. And if we go over here, max difficulty weapon that can be smith. There it is without penalty. And all the perks are obviously smithing perks. Or smithing related, obviously. Next, we have a scouting. So scouting, track detection radius, max track difficulty, spotting distance, and track information level. This pretty much, it shows you, whenever you're on the campaign map, it has a lot of stuff that makes you move faster on the campaign map. But also it shows you where the enemy is, whether it's through tracks, like those little like tracks you see on the ground that you can kind of hover over, and it shows how big the enemy is, how far they are away. But more importantly, it kind of gives you more line of sight of, like, you know, the map. So the higher your scouting is, the more you're going to be able to see around you, and the better decision making you can make based off that on who to attack, who to run away from. I think scouting, it's needed. I think it's needed. I think, you know, your campaign map, you spend a bunch of time on it. I think you do definitely need it. Tactics. Simulation advantage, which is like battle advantage, siege advantage, and all that. And decrease the sacrifice troop number when trying to get away. So these are pretty much... How can I explain it? It's like... what's the best way to say it? It's a lot of boosts for whenever you're in battles and sieges. It's another needed one. I think it's another needed one. The higher your tactics is, the better you're gonna do in battles. You see, there's a lot of damage boosts over here, minus morale penalties. Just a bunch of stuff that's gonna help out during simulations. You know, battles, sieges, is gonna make your troops stronger. Overall, it's boosting your troops, which obviously your troops are very important in this game. Next is roguery. It increases your battle loots. So the higher it is, the more loot you're gonna get. And then obviously it has to do with a lot of bandits, a lot of just like criminal activity, you know, roguery. I'm gonna say it how it is. It's like right here. It's like right here. You know what I mean? It's like good plus. If I could put it straight in the middle right here, I would. You don't need it. You don't need to level it really high up to have a very good game. But if you're going the route of, like, let's say, you know, recruiting bandits and all that, then you might want to get it. It might become needed, but it's good right now. Next is charm. Charm, it's yeah. It's needed. I would say it's OP. I'll put charm at OP. I'll put charm at OP because just relationships are very important. You know, you have persuasion increases. You know, you have good natured, which gives you back 100% influence. And then the last one, +1 influence per day. It's actually not this. It's +5. It's +1 influence per 5 levels, if I'm not mistaken. After 200. Because if I check right over here, where is it? I only get +10, but I have pretty much 100 more. So, wait, 1 influence per 10 skill, I think. Yeah, but still, very good perks. Persuasion is huge. Relationships are huge in this game. I know some people don't want to admit that they are, but they are. You know, you need relationships with a bunch of different AI lords to, you know, to get married, to join as a vassal, to have them vote for you, to have them vote with you, to get them to join your kingdom eventually. All this requires you to, you know, talk to people, and you know, all these perks, they will help you do that. And you know, your relationship increases with NPCs plus 150,000. I mean, I said 150,000 plus 150%. So it looks like every 2 levels of charm gives you 1% increase, which decent. Leadership. Increase morale of your parties in your command plus 30, and that's like a base 30 that you're always going to have, as you can see. And then increase garrison size plus 60. The leadership perks are insane. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. They give you a lot of like extra things. As you can see, plus 5 party size for each town you control. Late game, that's pretty insane. You control a lot of towns. It gives you a lot of battle morale, a lot of troop experience, a lot of minus influence. It has to do with your troops, and also just a lot of discounts and a lot of extra, like, you know, experience and morale. And this one right over here, and then it obviously increases your party size, the last ultimate leader perk. Plus these two right over here is a pretty crazy choice. You can either increase your companion limit plus 1 or your clan party limit plus 1, which I think makes this a OP skill as well. Trade penalty reduction plus 60% pretty much makes it so, you know, you make a bigger profit the higher your trade is. I would say it's pretty good. Wow, it's pretty good. I think literally all, like, this whole like row, what do you call it, charm, leadership, and trade, I think they're all OP, because trade, the last skill perk is literally you can trade settlements, which is like, it makes it so easy to get settlements late game. It's insanity. Then you have perks such as Spring of Gold, which gives you up to 1,000 dinars daily, which is pretty decent. You have perks like the insurance plan and the rapid development. That gives you 5,000 dinars whenever your either your caravan is destroyed or your workshop is taken over when the town is taken over. And overall, you're going to be selling a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? You're going to be selling a lot of stuff. Trading is a pretty vital part of the game if you want to make some good income. It's pretty good. It's OP. It is what it is. Steward increases party size plus 75. It's OP again. Party size is very important, especially early to mid game, before you actually start having clans and parties of your own that are roaming around. You want to have a pretty big party as your main character. Just the increase that it gives to party size is well worth it. Then obviously you have there's a lot of pretty cool perks. You have Aid Corps, which isn't pretty cool for the troops, but it's pretty cool for us. Wounded troops no longer pay wages. Double the morale bonus from having diverse food. By the way, Steward is super easy to just level up as well. Just have a bunch of type of different food, and you're gonna level it up quick, very quick. No morale penalty for having single food. It has to do with a lot with morale and just your party in general, kind of like how leadership does. Leadership and Steward, they're kind of alike, but they're kind of not alike. They have a lot of similarities. So yeah, it's up there. By the way, I should rearrange the top ones how I see it. I would say leadership, Steward, riding. There it is. Wait. Yeah. I think that's the best way to put it. Right over here. Put it like that. Yeah, this. Oh, yeah. Crossbow can go back. And I'll be honest with you. Sorry, not sorry. It is what it is. It is what it is. We need to have a bad. And to be honest with you, out of all these, crossbow, RIP. Next we have is medicine. We have couch survival chance, healing rate increase, and healing rate increase for troops, and healing rate increase in general as a governor. It's needed. It's definitely needed. It's just your healing rate, and it gives you plus HP, plus healing rate for you and your troops. There's also like cheat death once due to old age, and stuff of that nature, and then plus 1 HP to troops for every 2 skill levels, about 200. So you can, it's teetering. I'm gonna put it up here actually. It's highly needed. It's highly needed. And lastly, we have is engineering. Engineering. It is good. It's not really. Okay. So faster siege, engine production, faster building production, max difficulty. It's cool. Is it needed? It just helps you with projects. It helps you with obviously like town projects and castle projects. You can kind of build them faster, and then also it helps you with siege equipment, which is a big part of the game. But at the same time, I'll put it up. I'll put it up. I'll put it up here. I'll put it up here. I'm gonna put it like this. It's good plus. It's good plus. It's right below needed. You know what I mean? You could still survive without having a high engineering. You could still do very successful sieges without high engineering skill. So that's kind of why it's good. It's not really needed. But that's the tier list. That is what I think. Tell me what you think. Tell me why I'm wrong with the smithing perk not being OP, because you made 300,000 off one-handed sword. I know. But listen, like I said, we're not talking about exploits here. We're just, talking about base. So, yeah, I think overall, whatever your playstyle is, this is as accurate as I think you can get it. Okay, let me know what you think, and yeah, I will see you in the next one. And now I'm about to just rearrange these to make a little clickbait title, you know what I mean? I'll put like crossbow at OP, and I'll put like leadership right over here just to get your eyes, you know what I mean? Only 5% of you, as I've seen in my analytics, go towards the end of the video, like all the way towards the end of the video, especially when the video is long. So only 5% of you will see me talk about this. So to the 5% of you, I really appreciate your support. You know what I mean? I really appreciate it. You guys that stick through the whole video, you guys are, I consider you like secondary family. You know what I mean? I appreciate it. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one.